I'm so thankful for Zoom because every other like video messaging thing, I'm so not tech savvy. So this is like the easiest thing to use. I'm so thankful for it. Hey, Ehu. Hey, Jess. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Shaniqua. Your hair is on point tonight, girlfriend. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started so we can be respectful of everyone's time tonight. And I am recording for those of you who are on different time zones. I know some of you, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning where you are at this time. So I am looking forward to everybody being able to watch the replay. And I just am really thankful that Rachel took time tonight to talk with us. I know I came across your videos, Rachel, on YouTube. I don't even remember what I was searching for, but I saw one of your videos and you were in the car and I was like, I need this girl's spunk in my life. So we started sharing your videos on our team page probably 2 years ago. Yeah. And ever since, I just love popping on your YouTube and kind of watching for some, fresh outside perspective. And we're excited that you're here tonight. So many of the people on our team absolutely love you and can't wait to get your opinion on some of their questions that they typed out. So welcome, and feel free to take it away with a little bit of who you are, where you come from, and your kind of it works.
Sure. Okay, so my name is Rachel Whigham. I started this business, well, I'm Presidential Diamond, started this business, never fails. My dog always clowns every time I'm on any type of Zoom. Started this business 4 years ago as a single mom. So I was a single mother who was robbing Peter to pay Paul. So just to kind of give you a glimpse of what my life looked like, I was living in an affluent area, so an area where it costs a lot to live. I had just recently got my master's and was in school for another master's. My son was in private school and had maybe been in private school for about, I want to say like a year or two. And he started school early because of the way he thinks. So his birthday was before the cutoff. And so I went and got him tested. And unfortunately, he couldn't go to regular school just yet. But he was able to go to this school, but it costs money. And so because of the way he thinks and because of his intellect, it was really important for him to be in that school. So fast forward to when I had graduated with my master's. At this point, I needed the money. I needed the student loans in order to keep him in private school. And he was also in daycare because I did work a full-time job. So at that time, I was working a full-time job as a mental health case manager, a children's mental health case manager. And then also I did hair on the side. That was just my hustle. And then also I had duties at church. And then my son was in soccer. He was in sports. And so I had a really busy life, like really busy. And I'm talking about when I did hair, I did like 8-hour per head jobs on the weekend. So I was busy. But anyways, went to this rap party and heard about a lady who was making $15,000 combined, her and her husband. And that kind of blew me out the water because it was like, if this rap really does what it says it does and it really works, I know a lot of girls who would want this. Like, come on, who doesn't want to tone, tighten, and firm their skin? And I'm like, look, if y'all can make 15,000, I can make 500. I wasn't worrying about 15,000. Like, that sounds insane. I was more so concerned with just making a little money so that I didn't have to go back to school and get student loans for a degree I didn't want just to live, or I didn't have to spend more time away from him or figure out what it was that I was going to do in order to get by and survive. So I jumped in my first 2 weeks. I made $400 in rap cash. You'd be surprised who's waiting around for somebody they know to start selling it. Still, a lot of people have heard about it, but a lot of people haven't. What's insane is, I was talking to some of the 999ers and they were like, well, I don't know anything and I don't have any product. And I'm like, look, I made $400 in 2 weeks. Like, you can, if you open your mouth, you can make some money. You can even pre-sell your raps. Like, there's no telling. So that's a good thing to use for people who are saying that they can't sell raps right away, because I didn't know much about anything and I was still able to make that much rap cash. But anyways, I have a friend whose son is autistic, and she was one of my first distributors, and we were just having some girl talk. Somebody who's been my friend since high school, and she was talking about how she needed to cut back her hours at work to take her son to private school, not private school, sorry, to behavior therapy, but she couldn't because, I'm sorry, hold on, let me get rid of this dog. No problem. Go. Sorry. Okay, so she needed to take him for behavior therapy, and unfortunately she couldn't do that because if she cut back her hours at work, she wouldn't be able to pay her bills. And so, light bulb went off for me because as a mental health case manager, that's what we do. We help people. I went to school I have a bachelor's in psychology and my master's is in professional counseling. And when you go into that field of work, you're not going to make a lot of money. Like, you just know it. You're just, you have to keep going in terms of education or whatever in order to make more money. You just have to accumulate more debt if you want to make a reasonable living. And so I thought, well, if I help my friend make money, not only will she make money, but I'll make money. And I was like, whoa, you're telling me I can help people change their life and I can do what I love, which is helping other people, and I don't have to be left out. Like, that was just like monumental for me because that's all I wanted. I just desired to genuinely help other people. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, I was hurting because of helping other people. You go to work and in social services, you barely make enough money to make ends meet. You're drained down with their situations and their circumstances, and 9 times out of 10, you can only put a Band-Aid on it. So that just like opened up a world of endless possibilities for me. And so in April of 2014, I actually hit the position of diamond, and I got a $10,000 bonus, the good bonus. What I like to talk about this story, it took me 10 months to go diamond, but my upline quit 2 months into the business. So we actually both went ruby our second month, like we both joined the same month, and we both went ruby the same month, and then she quit. Crazy. Somebody we still actually see all the time. But she quit, and so I kind of had to, and I disconnected from her upline for several reasons. And so we kind of had to figure it out. Like, we had to figure out what in the world we were supposed to be doing. For me, same thing you said in terms of watching YouTube videos. It's what I did. I used to always watch Jade's videos all the time in the beginning. And we decided we were just committed and we were going to do it. And so from there, after I got that $10,000 bonus, I was still working at the time, and my husband and I, who's my fiance then, we were planning a wedding, and the next month my car broke down. And if you guys know, in the world of social services, you don't have a car, you have a job, because you got to be able to get from place to place. And so for the first time in my life as a single mom, I had a savings account, and that was insane because as a single mom, like, savings accounts are just non-existent. Like, what is that? So that was a big deal for me. So I was able to go out and get a car, and also didn't have to worry about the car payment because I had that extra money coming in, which is great because I always talk about how, the bonuses are broke down, but that extra $400 a month was my car payment, So that was a big deal for me to receive those installments. But anyways, the next month after that, I actually got fired from my job. It's crazy. It's funny. When I tell this at parties, people always look at me like, oh my God. I'm just like, look, no. It was supposed to happen. Like, it was supposed to happen. And I don't know if it didn't happen, I'd be where I am now. So I'm actually glad it did happen. But, I decided I wasn't going back. I decided that this was it. And I was going to be free, and I was going to make this business my thing. And so let's see. Normally I don't tell this part, but because we're on a training with distributors, I'll tell you guys. I actually lost my good bonus in September. So the month we got married. So we ended up getting married. Had a budget of $15,000. Really no idea where that was coming from. Ended up doubling it, and we have no debt from our wedding. So that was amazing. But in that same month, I lost my good bonus, and it was crazy because that was another pivotal change. Like, it was a pivotal time in my business because it made me realize that, it was crazy. I remember the night. I remember it. I'm looking around at my team like, I need this much volume. Like, where are you guys at? Like, I'm about to lose my diamond bonus. And I promise you there was about 2 people who cared. That was it. Like, everybody else was like, like, what does that mean for me? Like, they didn't really understand. And so for me, it was like, okay, nobody will ever control my business ever again in my life. Like nobody. So thank God Mark brought Get Back the Good the next month. And so I was able to get it right back because I realized from jump, like I am in control of where my volume is. Like it's not, I mean, it's a team effort, but it's really me. And so I ended up getting my bonus back the next month. So that was a big deal. And it was a very big moment for me to realize that it's not really about your team. It's about you. And so anyways, in January 2015, of course, we went to conference and Mark doubled those bonuses. And that was the first time he ever did it. And we went crazy. And I needed about 6 people and about, I want to say about 10,000 in volume by the time I came home from conference. And we came home and we did it. I went double diamond in January and got the $30,000 bonus. My husband went diamond in February. He got the $20,000 bonus. And then in March, I went triple, he went double, and we earned another $80,000 in bonuses. That was like the biggest run of my life. And everything that I knew about life changed in that moment, like everything. You know, my husband was still working. And so, you know, of course we had his salary still coming in, which I mean was not anything compared to what I was making with the works. But, you know, we're not going to talk about that. But I ended up, I think we went from making about $5,000 a month to making about combined about $20,000 a month in a matter of 3 months. And so, yeah, it was crazy. But let's see, fast forward past that, in October of 2015, I actually went presidential and got a $50,000 bonus. And then in the next year, we went back to conference and he doubled the bonuses again. So you just never know what Mark's going to do ever. No. And Breon actually went in March. He went triple diamond. He got a $50,000 bonus. And then in May, he went presidential. And so we're both presidential diamonds, and we're right there shooting for that ambassador mark, which is definitely a journey of itself. So yeah, I don't know if you said, how was life before and how is it now? Of course, we just moved into our home. So we were able to build a $500,000 home. And I will tell you, my husband was what did he do? He was like a correctional officer at a kids jail, so a juvenile facility. And then I was a mental health case manager. So both of those jobs combined could never get us in a house like this ever. I think one of the biggest things for us is that we're both come from single family homes. And so to be able to give back to our moms, and so both of our moms, their cars, we pay for them. So they don't have to worry about transportation and things like that. And then both of them are in the business, and so they also get checks. So I think that's amazing too, because in some MLMs, more than one person in a household can get a check. And so I remember when I first found out that I signed him up, because he was my first distributor. He was my first loyal, and then my first distributor. He upgraded to a distributor when I figured out I needed. And he was my boyfriend. He didn't have a choice. Like, if you're going to be with me, like, you have to support me. And he ran his own auto ship. I didn't run it. So one thing that I realized is that, like, I used to call myself Team 2 Checks, because I had the ability to bring in 2 checks. And because he cared about me, you know, he cared about putting that money towards my son's tuition so that I could get myself out of the place that I was in. So, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about everything, but It Works has completely changed everything we know about life. You know, my husband he's been home. It's a year and a half. It'll be 2 years in December that he's been home, and we've been home full time. So
that's
yeah.
So awesome. I love how you put it, like, everything that you knew about life changed, because that is, I wish that I could just transfer what's in my mind about life and how it really can be to all these people who are signing up and joining our team. And I just want to sometimes shake them and be like, do you know, like, how different your life can be? And it's so exciting to me when people catch that vision. So I know you mentioned watching YouTube. What do you think that's what helped you catch the vision, or were you going to events, or what did you do to really, like, latch on to the idea that It Works could really, like, change your life?
So it was definitely, I think it was everything, I guess you can say. For me, I didn't really start watching YouTubes until maybe about 6 months into the business, maybe. Like, 6 to 8 months into the business. That might not be true. It might be like a year into the business. The biggest thing for me was I did go to events. Conference was a no-brainer to me, and I was broke. Like broke. I was broke. And so broke that like my grandma bought my plane ticket. Like, and Breon paid for the hotels. Like when we were he was my boyfriend still then. I used to call him my sugar daddy because he bought me clothes at the store. I didn't have any money. Like he's the only reason why I got something at conference, because I didn't have any money. Like it was just me being there, and I understood that importance of getting there to change my life. And not only that, but getting him there, because it changed his view on the business as well. Realizing that it wasn't just a girl's thing, and that there was an avenue where men could talk about this business. And he actually came back and signed his first loyal customers after he came back from conference. So, yeah, the events were a big one. And then personal, like really changing everything was my personal development. So that was my personal and spiritual development, should I say. Because you can't do this business without faith. You just can't.
Totally agree.
I love that you admitted to losing your bonus, because a lot of people don't talk about that. You're right. Like we kind of keep that under wraps whenever that happens as a company. And I know they don't want to point out the negatives, but it's happened to us as well. So I always love to ask leaders, like when that happens in your business, because we have a lot of new people. So I'm sure the new people are like, what? You can lose a bonus. But when that happens in your business, and you think back to how you were working your business and you see your checks now, which would you prefer, the bonus or your commission checks, like your regular old commission check?
Well, bonuses are always nice. Don't get me wrong. They're nice, and they definitely add to the value. But you can create a bonus. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but people have to understand the importance of going diamond. I think one of the biggest things with this increase that a lot of people got, now I will say this, like most people on my team, if you did anything, you got some type of increase in your check. But you might not have seen the type of increase I saw, and that's because you're not a diamond. And so I think people are not understanding, like we tell you, get to diamond, this is why. Because when you get into that world where you can create your own paycheck, and I say create your own paycheck in certain ways, but to be honest, it's almost like people creating the paycheck for you in so many ways. And so, yeah, like, you can easily, my diamond and above bonuses, generational bonuses are way more than any bonus that It Works has ever given me. Yeah. But people have to understand that. So
right, and I feel like a lot of times our culture and a lot of the network marketing companies, our company included. So network marketing companies out there that exist, for all of the new people who are on. And I didn't know this. I've never done, this is my first network marketing company, and this will be the only one for me. But most network marketing companies out there will dangle some sort of a golden carrot in front of you. Most of them will dangle a car. So they'll say, if you join and you get to this rank, we'll give you a car. What that really is a lease. So what they're saying is, you go out and get a lease. We'll pay you $600 for that Mercedes, but you can only get a Mercedes. You can only get a BMW or a Lexus. It's got to be a flashy car. We'll pay you $600 for that. Or you can take cash of like $200. What Mark is saying is, I want you guys to go debt free. So I'm going to throw a bonus on top of residual income. Residual income is what everyone should be in this industry for. For me, when I realized what residual income was, I used to be in sales before this industry, in corporate sales, and I didn't have residual income. I worked my tail off and would make a ton of money for someone else who all of my clients are now theirs, and they're constantly paying their dues, and every single month someone else is making that money. And this industry is literally giving you that residual income. So, yeah, the bonuses are amazing, and they generate a fire within a lot of people, including myself, to go after it, because it feels good to see, like, can I get this bonus? And if I do, oh my God, what would I do with the bonus? Because I didn't plan on a bonus. I just planned on making $2,000 a month as a diamond. Right. But if you want to throw a bonus on top of that, oh my God, what can I do with that? So I totally agree with you.
For sure.
Okay, so one of the questions, and you touched on this when you were sharing your story about how your upline quit and you just decided, like, you were going to make it happen. So this specific question was, what do you do when you feel like you aren't getting all that you need from your upline? Is it okay to reach out to other leaders who are not on your team for leadership and training?
So for me, it's more so, okay, I have several different philosophies on this. So if your upline quit, if there's still somebody like in between you guys, like above you guys, should I say, then you need to go up. Like there's no reason to go outside of your organization unless there is nobody above you. So there was nobody above me. Like literally the only person above me was Cammie Dempsey. Like that was it. Like all in between was nothing, which is why Cammie and I are cool now. But so I didn't have anybody. And even then I reached out to other leaders more so for something like this, like just a call or something like that. But I didn't feel as though there was anything that they would, why would they give me, if they have a whole organization, why would they give me that time to pour into me and I'm not in their downline? I wouldn't even expect that of them. Especially when they have resources out there like a YouTube page or where they are sharing the things that they want to share with the world. That's when I caught on to the whole Jade thing. So Jada did a call for my team, but I loved her YouTube pages. And I think there were a few other leaders that I asked to do calls for my team, but I didn't really cling to their YouTube pages like that. But for me, it's more so you need to go up. Like you need to talk to their upline. And I really, the way my team functions, they know who I am. So I don't care how far down you are in my downline. You know that you can always talk to me. Now, if you have a problem with me and you decide to go outside of me, then you need to disconnect yourself from me. You get what I'm saying? Like that, it becomes that point. Like we don't want mess, but if you really feel that way about me, then you need to go elsewhere. And that doesn't mean you have to necessarily cancel and all that, but you just need to disconnect yourself. So because then you wouldn't even be going by what I'm teaching, and then somebody says, well, whose team you on? Don't say you're on my team because I teach you that, you know? So it really, I don't know. I feel like there's two types of people. So I was actually talking to somebody on my team about this yesterday. There's people who are just ambitious and go-getters. And I happen to be one of those people. I didn't care who I was under. I was going to be successful. And then you have people who need to be mentored. And they don't know how to discover their own potential if they don't have anybody to push them along the way. And so people have to decide which person they really are. I mean, we don't even do sideline love for real outside of the money team, because there's just different things that we do that other people don't do. And we've created a culture that we love. So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, let's look at another question. So this question is, how do you keep yourself motivated? Yes, I know our why should keep us inspired, but if you just feel like you're in a rut and you don't know what to do, how do you personally make sure that you stay out of funks and keep yourself inspired?
Okay, so, well, one, it always goes back to your why. For me, I'm going to say in the beginning, because now it's totally different, but back in the beginning, at the end of the day, the reason why I started is because I need to pay for private school, and it was really important for me, to keep my son in private school. So if you don't do this, then what? Like, what are all the consequences as a result of you not doing it? Then what's your alternative? And so, like, it started with just my personal development, because if you change your mind, you can look at the situation in a different way. And then it also goes to your spiritual development, because understanding that all things don't happen when you're ready for them to happen. And then a lot of times, one of the things that I learned over my journey is that maybe you're not getting what you want because you're not in a position to receive it. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me, because even having people go diamond and above and lose it right away is because you weren't in a position to keep it. You did not, God's not going to give you something that you're not ready to receive. Let's just put it like that. And if you bust your butt to make it happen and you weren't ready for it, He's going to take it away. And so you have to make sure you put yourself in a position to keep it. And so when I'm in a rut, you got to think, if you get in a rut over something, I don't know, if you can't take the hits, then why should He give you more? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really listen to your Bible and you, do your spiritual development, you understand that with every victory comes a storm. You can't get to the victory without a storm. So what makes you think that you being in a rut, if you can't get past that, how do you get to the good part? How do you get to the good part of the story without going through the bad? And so for me, it's more so this is just a part of my journey. And regardless of what it is, I'm not in control anyway. Like, a lot of times, people on your team will deal with things and it's like, I mean, it's really sad. I pray for you, but I'm not Jesus and I can't fix it. So I'm not the person you really need to be talking to anyway, because even if you're venting to me and you just need a moment to kind of just talk about it, that's all we can do. I can pray with you, but at the end of the day, I can't do anything. You're going to have to learn how to talk to him yourself and find peace in that, because if not, you won't get to where I am. Let me just say that. You will not get there. You will not get there at all. And so you're going to need that support in terms of learning how to dwell and go through the hard times. But at the end of the day, you got to understand that you don't get to good times without going through the hard times. So every hard thing that comes along, you just got to know and trust that, eventually I'm about to get to something amazing if I can just hold on.
That whole thing, like everything you just said right now, I'm like, oh my God, that's like, it speaks to me 100%. 100%. Because if you believe that, he's a father, then his goal is not to put a ton of stuff on you. You're right. Yeah. And with every success, you've got to go through some trials. And with every success and every responsibility comes more responsibility, that if you're not ready to handle the tough little things like rejection, then how do you handle, a team of over 1,000 people who are rejecting you or messaging you to say, can you pay my rent? Or because those things do happen. And I love that you said, if you don't do it, then what? When it comes to your why, because I always ask everyone their why, but I love that question. Like, okay, so that if that is your why and you feel like this might be the answer to it, if you don't do it, then what's the other alternative?
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, our next question is, how do you organize yourself regarding meeting new people and building new relationships and keeping people on a rotation and not forgetting about potentials or people that you've met while you're blitzing or living the blitz? Or how do you organize, I guess, your business?
So if I get their phone number when I blitz them, I save them in my phone as PDT, and then I put where I met them. So then when I'm doing my follow-up Fridays or whatever, you just put in PDT and then all of them pop up, and then you can just send messages to all of them. If I add them on Facebook, I'll normally screenshot it, and then I might put them on See First, so that I can start interacting with them. I don't really use lists. Like, I'm not the best organized person in the world, just not. But sometimes I create, I'll write down in my calendar. So that's probably my biggest thing that I do. I've always been an Erin Condren, probably the last 3-4 years. I won't switch. And on the left-hand side, I put at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the week, I put the PDT, and then down at the bottom I put PLC, and I name all of my PDTs. And that is my focus this whole week, is to follow up with all those people and see how things are going and see if I can get sign dates on the calendar. That's really the biggest thing. That's really how I do it.
Okay. I like that idea for the phone, because I do save people under where I met them, but it makes more sense to put the PDT first, so that way when I just type that in, all of them will show up. So that was a good tip. The question is, how much energy should you give a distributor who isn't working or responding to messages, or has little to no auto ship, hasn't signed customers, doesn't participate in trainings, et cetera, et cetera?
None.
Yeah, that would be my answer too.
None. I'm not begging anybody to make no money. It's not happening. I put people on a 6-week journey when they first start. But because 9 times out of 10, I signed you up. So if you went in and cut that auto ship off and you're ignoring me, then we're done. But what's crazy is, at first, I will send you a message. You'll have a message of, I didn't see you as the type of person that would ignore people. Like, they're going to get something from me, because I think that's rude, and you're grown. And if you don't want to do it, open your mouth and say that. So they're going to get that from me for sure.
Yes. Preach, please.
I would, yeah, I would totally. I think when we get in this business, I don't know, like everything that person just said. Imagine if you were dating someone and that's the way they were treating you. Like,
well, my thing is that you wouldn't treat your job like that.
right.
And this can pay you more than your job. So I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to respect this the way you respect your job, then I don't expect you to make any money anyway. I gave my business more than I gave my job, which is why I am where I am. So, you don't want somebody like that, no way.
Do you think you're obviously red, Erica's obviously red, I can be red when I want to be. What do you say to the yellow, who is that person that's like, I can't do that?
Or like, I don't want to give up on them, they have potential, or...
Well, here's the thing, and this is something I was just talking to my team about, because I have a girl who's like pure red, but she's not even, I wouldn't even say she's pure red, because here my thing is, if you're red, you know how to be the rainbow. A red is a winner. And so a red knows how to be every single color. If I need to be green today and figure something out and read something, I'm not reading. If you put out something, I'm not just going to automatically go read it. But if I need to find out, I'm going to go read it. You know what I'm saying? And so a red knows how to be every color. And so I can be sympathetic, in terms of what you're dealing with. Or if you're a yellow, so let's say you are a yellow, and I have a lot of yellows. Oh my gosh, yellows, Jesus. But when it comes to yellows, you have to believe that your business is more important. At the end of the day, you started for a reason. And the only way that you can really help people is if you help yourself. And so if you're not helping yourself, then you can't help anybody else. And so at the end of the day, enabling somebody is not the same as helping them.
Yes, I love that. Okay, how do you handle the feeling of discouragement if you have had a slow month, or if there's been a month where you haven't signed a distributor or a customer?
Well, I don't think there's something called slow months. I think it's called slow people. I was just talking to my team at the beginning of the month when it came to making this an amazing month. The way you're going to do that is because last month you sent all 1,000 messages that you were told to send. So if you didn't do anything the month prior for preparation, then of course you're going to have a slow month. You didn't do anything. So what is your follow-ups looking like? So for me, there's no such thing. How do you have a slow month if you have blitz cards and you go out and you blitz people every day? Like, how does that work? I don't even know how that functions. I don't know. It is it's really a mindset thing. If you're not working your business, then of course you're having a slow month.
I agree. And what's a slow month? Like to that question, like what's a slow month? Are you saying you just haven't signed anyone? Because you gotta celebrate those wins. If you blitz, if it takes you 20 people to get one person to be like, yeah, I'll try a wrap, and it's not a slow month. That's a good month.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see. Sorry, I lost the page.
While she's looking for it, I'll ask a question from a guy's perspective. So I got a chance to meet Rachel's husband at a men's retreat last year. And in talking to him, he was like, this is all, because I said congratulations to him. And he's like, no, you need to congratulate my wife. It's all her. So we have a lot of people on our team, a lot of ladies on our team, especially new ladies who are like, my boyfriend, my husband, my fiance does not want to do this. And I want him to do this because without him, I can't do this. Or it would just feel better if he was doing this. Or it would make me feel better if he encouraged me or if he was a part of my team. So what do you say to that? Because as a single mom, you didn't have that. And then you got a boyfriend who was like, I'm in because you tell me to. But even he says, that wasn't me. That was still her.
Mm-hmm. So your question is like, how do you push without a mate or without support from your mate? Or
those ladies who are like, I want his support, or I want him on my team, or how do I get him to be on my team, or I can't do this without him. And we literally had someone just recently say, it's causing a rift. I can't do this without him.
So I think that's more so of a personal thing because my husband, even now, is not my savior. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if he was to step away, I still got to eat. So I don't know that I'm. That's kind of a.
It's okay.
it's kind of a tricky situation because, you know, some people, they might feel dependent, and then if they feel dependent, it should be more the reason to do it so they can be independent of that. And if your man is that controlling, should you really be with him? And so that kind of goes into a whole different thing. Is you're just in an unhealthy relationship. And I don't care. It goes to the same thing when it comes to friends. If my spouse or my boyfriend is not supporting me, you don't need to be my boyfriend. I don't care if I'm about to go jump off a bridge. Like, you need to be like, I mean, bungee jumping. We're not going to say like that. So you don't get to tell me that I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say, I don't think you should do that. But if you really want to do that because I care about you, I'm going to support you regardless. Because aren't your friends supposed to support you even when you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not like saying like it's good, but they're still going to be there to support you regardless. So maybe you need to change your circle, and then you also need to believe that you can. Like, that goes back to personal development, and them not thinking that they're worth enough, and them not thinking that they can do it. You know, they feel like this person is their savior, and they're the person that tells them what they can and can't do, and as a result, that's what you're getting. So they just need to, you're going to have to really, I would have them start, that's one person who, I don't know if you guys have them read certain books, but You Are a Badass. That's probably one that I would have them read, because they have to have some type of self-belief. They have to believe that they can do it. And there's so many different books out there that talk about these kind of things, but I think that's the biggest thing. When it comes, you can't ask me this because I didn't care what he was doing. Like, at the end of the day, like, I have my own goals and ambitions, and we're just together. Like, we just enjoy each other. Like, we're friends. You know what I mean? Like, my goals and ambitions he doesn't control them. And if he doesn't support them, then he's got to go. So, yeah.
That's how it was with us too. Like, he was like, do not sign up for anything. And I signed up that same day, and like, I didn't feel like, I mean, we weren't married, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to, when I have, like, oh, my boyfriend just doesn't want me to do this. I just want to be like, and?
Right. What does that mean?
What? Yeah, I don't get that.
Well, I guess this is my thing. If you put it into perspective for them, if your boyfriend didn't want you to go to college, would you not go? You know what I'm saying? Like, if your boyfriend didn't want you to go to work, would you not go? You know what I'm saying? Especially if you had your own bills or a kid to take care of, would you allow them to control you doing something that you live and eat off of? So, and then how important is your business? You know, I think a lot of times people don't see the business is that important. It's just not on that high level of importance. And as a result, this is what we get.
Okay, the last question that they have asked is, if you could go back to the week that you first joined, or your younger It Works self, what's one like biggest piece of advice that you would give to you about business?
I don't know. There's so many things I could have told myself about the journey ahead, but I think that everything that I went through at the time that I went through it, needed to happen that way. Like, I don't know. I'm okay with my journey. So I don't know that I probably would have started personal development a little bit sooner, which is why we have our newbie start personal development right away. That's about it. Like, all the rest of it, I mean, you give me something, when it comes to being a red, if you give me directions, I'm going to follow them. And so when you tell me that we blitz rap, we repeat, we have rap parties, and I knew that was my way, and in rap appointments, I knew that was my way of getting my hands on cash fast, and as a hustler, that's what I needed. And so all the basics were there for me. So I think it's more so like, just use the tools that are given. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. And then understand the importance of, if you can't complete the steps to success, you can't do anything. That's the blueprint. And so if you can't do 4-3 and run an auto ship, you're in the wrong business. That's it. It's that simple. Going above and beyond and doing more than that outside of personal development, like, it's nothing else to it. Like, it's just, there's nothing else to it. So I don't know. Now, I will tell you this, and this is something I'm very big on. I'm very big on it. I was a single mom and I was broke, like broke for real. Sometimes my auto ship was the last $100 in my account, but there is not one time that I have not ran my auto ship. So when people tell me they can't run an auto ship, I'm not the person to talk to about it. It's not, because for me, when I ran my auto ship, not only did I know I was getting paid, but I know I had a box of wraps coming, which means that I could build my business. So I don't have any sympathy for that at all. None at all. It was crazy. I had a 999er after their auto ship ran, like try to tell me that I didn't explain the auto ship. I said, no, baby, I've been in this business for 4 years. I was like, that is the first thing I talk about. I want you to know that the auto ship is coming out, which is why I've been on top of you these last 4 weeks so that you can make some money. So when it came out your account, you didn't act like this. And so I don't have none at all.
Yeah.
No sympathy when it comes to an auto ship.
There was a time for us where we were literally outside of our home and still ran our auto ship, and our family was like, why aren't you guys using this to pay for the stuff that needs to be taken care of on your house? And we were like, we can't turn this off. This guarantees us money, and this business is going to be the reason why we are never in this situation again. So we cannot not grow our business. Like,
exactly.
We can't turn it off. So we're the same way. There's never been a month since the day I started that we haven't run our auto ship. It's so important. Like you said, it gives you wraps. So you're growing your business, you're being a product of the product.
Mm-hmm.
And those two things right there, wrapping people and seeing results and having results on yourself,
mm-hmm.
that's
exactly.
what's going to make your belief so huge that when someone comes to you and says, yeah, but the wraps don't work, you're going to be like, no, yes, they do. I know, because it's worked for me. It's worked for this person, this person, this person. Here are the pictures on my phone. And
exactly.
You'll have so much belief that no matter what anybody says, you know that it works. The
yes.
product and the compensation plan.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And for me, when it comes to people being broke, it's like, well, you create your own paycheck. So maybe you work like a broke person. I don't know. Well, not really, because a broke person works, they bust their butt because they don't want to be broke anymore. Maybe you're just comfortable with your situation. Maybe that's it. Because everywhere I went, I was giving somebody a Blitz card. Every opportunity I had to put a wrap on somebody, I was taking advantage of it. Nobody was going to beat me to the punch. You know, I think that was one thing. I actually had a friend who signed with somebody else, and I reached out to her like, what happened? Like, why'd you do that? And she was like, well, you didn't ask me. I was like, you're right. And I bet you that'll never happen again. But she didn't end up doing anything. Thank God. Man, you know. But it was like, you know, you have to ask everybody. And so I tell my team now, I say, you know, ask your grandma, I will. Like, and she can be my customer, because I'm going to ask everybody. And I'm not going to be selfish and keep something so special to myself.
I love that. Well, do you have anything else to ask, or?
Yeah, can we end on how do you get someone started? So someone is brand new, because we have a lot of new people. How do you get someone started?
So we have something called a game plan checklist. We actually just recently started something called a boot camp. I got it from Aaron Tweed, but we're kind of still in the new stages of it, trying to decide if it's something that we want to keep around. But what we do is I send them an email, and the email has how to wrap themselves. It has our wrap party how-to, so they can start preparing for their wrap party and getting the things they need for the wrap party. It has the steps to success, and then our game plan checklist. And I tell them pretty much like just to log into eSuite. That's really the only thing I want them to do right away is to log into eSuite, fill out the tax form. I explain that if you don't fill it out, you can't get paid. And so from there, they share on social media. I have them post a picture of their why, and they just a brief thing of just, you know, hey guys, I'm so excited I just started with It Works. This is why. And then from there, we set a time for them either to do our newbie, to do our newbie training. We have a rotating newbie training every week. Gosh, hold on.
Sorry.
Jesus.
It's that new dust, that new house dust.
Right. Sorry. So we have a rotating newbie training that one of my double diamonds does every week. So they're able to hop on newbie training where they really just go over the game plan checklist and they send out their first few messages together. And then we set their launch party date. So, and my thing is, I don't care where you live, you need to have an in-person party. And I can either be on Zoom or FaceTime or something like that. There is no excuse. So that's really the basis, the beginning. And then I challenge them to get their 4 loyal customers before their kid arrives. And of course, we have a message that they send out to everybody they know. Now, the question is, do they do it? And so you have to follow up with them and see if they actually are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then we do have them do, so the game plan checklist kind of takes them through, because I have them print it and go through it, because they go through it during newbie training, but it has like a check mark of what exactly they should be doing. So completing the Train Academy in 5 days and things like that. So they have step-by-step what to do. The question is, are they willing to, it kind of tells you who is proactive and who's not. Yeah, big time. And then what I'll do is I'll follow up. So I talk to my newbies maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. And I do all of them on an individual basis. I don't like groups because people can hide in groups. If you put all of them in a group and you say something, they don't have to respond. I always say it like this. If my brother plays sports, and if my brother puts me in a text message full of other people and says, hey, I have a game on Friday at such and such, I want you to come, I don't have to respond. But if he sends me a text message that says, sis, I want you at my game on Friday, I'll be like, oh, shoot, like, I gotta go. He wants me at his game. Like, I gotta go to his game. It's a whole different situation. So I'm not, unless I have like everybody has a relationship in the group and I know they respect each other enough to say something, I don't do groups at all. Yeah.
Good tip.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking your hour with us tonight. And there are so many things that you've said that I've taken notes on, and I'm sure my team is equally as appreciative. And yeah, I don't know. If there's not anything else that you want to share, then we will let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. And we just are thankful that you took time to pour into our team and share a little bit about how you've been successful.
So thank you so much for having me. My kid clearly wants me. He's standing outside my door. But thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. One thing I do want to say, and just because I know you're recording so that the rest of your team can see this later, one of the biggest things for me is when I went on my triple diamond run, even my presidential diamond run, and even now going on my ambassador diamond run, it's a team effort. And you have to be willing to care about somebody above you and below you. But if you can get the bottom person to understand how important it is to help the person above them, you can do anything. But you guys have to understand that it all works together. So you have to understand if somebody says, and be okay with saying like, hey, you're the executive to my presidential. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't go executive, nothing happens. And I always explain to my team that I am the very last person to promote. Like, I'm the very last person. So every month when I crank out my wins, know that one of my win is still like, it's still awesome. Like you winning is still great and it gets me that much closer to my goal. But if all the components are not together, Rachel still does not promote. Everybody else can promote. And if there is one missing component, Rachel does not promote. And so you guys have to understand that when it comes to your upline. Like, if you are the executive to their Ruby, even if you feel like it's challenging or you feel like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, like it's a lot of pressure, open your mouth and talk to them and figure out what it is you can do in order to make it happen. Because if not, you are literally messing up an entire organization of people who are depending on you. And I think for you guys, like, I used to explain to my team, which is why I do sideline relationships inside the money team, because if you understand that you're the double and you're the diamond, and you guys get that, if you don't hold down your part, and if I say, for instance, I finished my diamond on the 25th, and I know that you're the double diamond to my upline's promotion, I can come over and say, hey, like, what's going on? How's it looking? Like, what do you need? Do you need me to help reach out to your 400 boxes? Because we're always better together. And that is the way that you get to the top. Do you get what I'm saying? So everybody has to be willing to have each other's back in some way. because we can't do everything. So as the upline, we can't do everything, and it's better if we work together in order to make one goal happen. And eventually you'll be in the shoes, and you'll need the same thing for you. So that's something to think about.
I love that. I think that was a perfect way to kind of close out, and just, you know, our team that's on here tonight, and our team that's going to be watching. We appreciate you guys, and we see all of your hard work, and just know that there's not anything that we're asking you to do that we're not doing ourselves as well. So thank you so much again, and I hope everybody has a really great night, and that your month of August is phenomenal.
You too.
See you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.